Hey everybody, Mookie here. Today I am fresh out of ideas, but often my best ideas come to me on the drive home, and by home I mean the 24-hour fitness. And today, I'm not going to the 24-hour fitness. I'm actually going somewhere else today. But I am going to record this drive. Sometimes as well on my drive home, I have like the most thoughts about cars or whatever else is going on. Like I have the most thoughts about it often on the drive home. So hopefully I could see some interesting cars. Literally first one. So actually what I am seeing initially is probably like a 2014, maybe as early as 2012 LS400 Lexus. I forgot about the LS400 Lexus, like that early 2010s model of it. It's like a kind of a bubbly, boxy version. Like it looks almost exactly like the 2012 Camry. It just is a little longer, obviously a Lexus, so it's a little bit different. But great vehicle. From what I remember about the interior about that car, super spacious. I honestly should probably think about seeing if I could find one cash. Definitely like an undervalued vehicle. Okay, fantastic. There's this white car in my blind spot. I love that. Thank you for not just chilling back there while I'm trying to merge. I appreciate it. It's a CHR, which is an absolute piece of garbage. Do not buy a CHR, unless you really hate yourself. Now that's a car that's like, it's no different than buying a Corolla. Like if you're gonna buy a Corolla, then I guess get a CHR. I believe it's the same motor. Buy like any newer, I guess I should say, like after 2017, 2018 Toyota CHR. It's not much different than like a base model Corolla, I suppose. Not much different. The only difference is that it's significantly less space. You would think the opposite, since it has like a hatchback, or it's kind of like a compact SUV style, but it really doesn't reflect that in the form and function of the car. It really doesn't. The Corolla with not a hatchback, just a regular trunk lid, has more space. That's not a Plaid. A Model S just passed by and it has a Plaid badge, but it is not a Plaid. It's always interesting seeing Tesla owners get a little out of hand with their AutoZone parts and their AutoZone Aero. It's always interesting. But back to the CHR, I honestly, if I found one with, I guess, under 30,000 miles so that it was still well within warranty for probably under 15,000, I'd definitely get one. That'd definitely be an agreeable. Model Y performance owners are maniacs. This young dude in this Model Y is literally just driving like he's out of Initial D with an electric car, like just swerving in and out of lanes, ending up in the same lane right next to me, like both hands on the wheel, like if he's about to, toge down the mountain or something. Jesus Christ, relax, dude. We're not going anywhere. Like, this is as fast as we're going. We're going 80 right now. Like, it's fine. We're all gonna be fine. Oh, the Acura family. Yes. Now, what I just seen made me all light up and giddy, because I just seen like basically what I want, like my current car situation to be. I have the wagon, right? The station wagon. And then what I just passed by was a blue Acura RSX Type S and a Acura MDX A-Spec, but there's an MDX Type S out now. So I'm like, if I could have both of those and this wagon, that would be the tits. Like, that would be incredible. What a line. It's just like small, bigger, biggest. Like, you got the small, got the coupe, you got the wagon, and then you got the three-road SUV. Beautiful. And then the MDX just rocks. The MDX just rocks unequivocally. And I like that. Like, a lot of people don't like having the same set, like, as far as cars go, like, unless you're a Nissan or Infiniti owner, for some reason you like having the same crap car over and over and over again. I don't know why. It's just like, I don't know. The same people who think that like an Infiniti G37 four-door is a great car are the same people that their dream car is like an SRT Scat Pack or like a Hellcat, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's like the best made car on the planet. And I'm like, I'm not gonna argue that it's not a well-made car, or that it's not a fast car, or whatever the case may be. It just elicits a certain like type. There's a certain person whose dream car is a Charger or Hellcat Challenger. There's just a certain demographic. Like you really like you. I don't think people who are in love with those cars should be the ones to buy them. But people who are just like, that's actually a really cool car, I can afford that. Those people preferred owners on that one, because they're not absolutely, they're not absolutely like mentally psychotic. Like S2 Apres. What does S2 Apres? The Model S with the fake plaid emblem, his license plate says S2 Apres. S2 Apres. S2. So that doesn't really make sense, because it's like, if it's S, like Model S, it's not a 2, it's just Model S. I mean, I guess it's an AP2, but he doesn't know that. I'm confused. I don't know.
A few minutes later.
There was a Mercedes recently that I wanted to talk about. It was like a specific Mercedes that is literally just the same car as like 1,000 other compact SUVs, but this is kind of one of them. Right next to me is a GLC 300 4MATIC Mercedes-Benz. That car it's not any different than the CHR, if I'm being honest. About the same amount of room. I think the trunk's cubic space is a little bigger. I think it's big enough to fit a spare tire, but I do not believe it has one. Oh, coincidentally, actually, here's the car that I was wanting to talk about. It was the GLA. The GLA is next level trash. Like, if you want to talk about garbage, the Mercedes GLA is next level, like, trash. Like, if the Nissan Kicks is the worst car ever made, which it is, the GLA has to be the Mercedes wrapped Nissan Kicks. That's what it looks like to me. It just looks like a Nissan Kicks. It looks like garbage. It's just like, the only way you'd recognize the fact that it's a Mercedes-Benz is the emblem. If you took all the emblems off, the interior just looks like the most lackluster version of Mercedes. Like, it looks like what every interior to a Mercedes has looked like since 2006. You barely get like a Mazda level infotainment system. And I'm not talking about like new Mazda, where they're just like, we're going to give you a bigger screen and like actual options and Apple CarPlay. I'm talking about like 2013 Mazda, like where it had that big fat dial in the center. It was just a red screen in the middle that said like media, options, USB or something. It was like 4 options, but only one could be used, which was like media. Maybe there was a radio option, but who listens to the radio? Like, unless you're still listening to AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, then you're not using the radio. See, and I knew that was gonna happen. Like, I knew that. I was like, I always see these cars that I think about, these just absolute piles of flaming trash that I know about in the real world, that sometimes I'll forget about which car it exactly is, or I'll forget to kind of talk about it, or to be like, oh shoot, I was gonna actually talk about this car. The GLA is one of them. I really need to do some research and see like if the GLA actually uses any components from any cheaper cars or cheaper car makers, because it's definitely one of those cars that looks like it's a candidate to be like, the GLA is definitely one of those cars that looks like it's a candidate to be like a Scion IA or IM, where it's just a Mazda 2, or it's like a whatever the equivalent of it was. It was just like a Mazda 3 Skyactiv or whatever it was in a Toyota badged car. So like the motor was cheaper. The transmission was cheaper, the build quality was cheaper, because also they didn't have to build it. They just had to, like, I think, subsidize Toyota to manufacture. Subsidize Mazda to manufacture it. Just what a piece of trash. I was recently having a conversation with somebody where they were just like, Toyota doesn't make Toyotas anymore. Realistically, like, for the most part, Toyota doesn't really make Toyotas anymore.
A few minutes later.
Yeah, Toyota doesn't really make Toyotas anymore. Like, their line, right? Like, we look at, what else is out right now? So, GR86, right? It's a Subaru. The Supra, it's a BMW. There's another car made by them that's like not even their car. This freaking 100 series BMW, that's another piece of garbage. See, again, like all of the crappiest cars, Chevy Equinox, also a piece of crap. All the crappiest cars are out when I normally don't have the camera out. When I'm just like, oh shoot, I need to do a video on that car. I need to do a video on that car, like cars that are similar. But like the Chevy freaking Equinox, right? It's just a Nissan Rogue that's like a CX-3, CX-5. Obviously, Mazda's a little different in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, it's all the same cars, the same as an RX, which is right next to me, an RX. Newer iterations of these compact SUVs have strived to be different, but depending on the era, they just are the same SUV. They don't offer something that's different. They don't offer something that's new. They don't offer something that's directly different from the competition. Up until recently, like I would say the pandemic itself, Toyota and Lexus didn't even offer onboard Apple CarPlay or Android Auto without like an upgrade or a package. And then even shortly before that, not very long before that, did not offer it at all, which was just Bluetooth. That was it. That's all you got. You got Bluetooth, you got USB. Now everyone's kind of in this rush to catch up to Tesla and what have you. And the reason I harp so much about this with cars is because I love cars so much that I even have respect and a certain love and care for the garbage ones, because they didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be made garbage. It's just what the manufacturers do to kind of just make way for any person to buy into their brand. When if you look at Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out, that's not how you get your way into the masses to produce a quality product that more and more of the masses want to have access or want to consume or want to get. Like Cane's, right? It's a newer competitor in this space where they just produce one item for consumption. And you can make the comparison that, oh, Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out have been in it for a long time. It's like, well, if they've been in it for so long and this model's outdated, and how come Cane's also produces on this model and they're newer, right? So that's flawed. Same thing with new cars, right? Like with Tesla doesn't offer 15 different cars in their line. They have 4. Arguably, they have redundancies in those 4. I would even say that I would go so far as to say all you need is the Model Y, S, and X. And I wouldn't even say you really need the X. You could probably just get rid of the X for the Roadster if that one ever becomes available, and then for a 4th one, the Cybertruck. Now you've tackled every market. If the Y, because the Y is such a medium space that it can function as a compact sedan, but with having more features and more space. Obviously it's not a sedan, but it can fit that mold for the people who are willing to pay a little bit more to get what's not a sedan. And unfortunately, a lot of people have been doing this for a long time, just have more and more offerings. Look at, Hyundai and Kia, they just keep making more and more different versions of their own car. Their Genesis, their compatriot in other countries, does the same thing, just makes more and more of the same vehicle. Mercedes-Benz, like I just mentioned with the GLA, GLB, GLC, all of these vehicles are the same car minus a few inches of cubic feet, like, or half a foot of cubic storage. It's bonkers what you'll get away with selling. And granted, that being said, it doesn't mean that I think that there's no value in every single last one of them. Because I'm be honest, I can honestly see value in me wanting to purchase a lot of cars from different brands. I'll take BMW, for example. I was just harping on the 100 series BMW. I wouldn't purchase that, and arguably the 100, the 200, and the 400 series are all superfluous, as well as the 800 series. And you could just get away with the 3, 5, and 7. 3, 5, and 7, you're square as far as sedans go. You don't even need 5 and 7. You just need 3. Then an SUV. Then maybe something alternatively. I don't know if BMW has trucks and other trucks or utes in other countries. I'm not sure. If there's like a BMW ute or BMW truck, Kevin will put a picture here. If not, he'll put a picture of, like, I don't know, a Clam or Jenna Ortega or something. I don't know, something spicy. But for BMW, there's all these different options. And I've talked about this before with BMW with, like, their 3 different trim levels or their multiple trim levels. But I believe that I would still find a market or find a use for different cars. Like, I like BMW to a certain aspect where I like the M2. I like an M4 competition, the CMS, CPS, CLS, one of those. CS competition, I think it's called. I like a 7 Series. The new 7 Series is kind of ugly, but I kind of really like it because it has a super huge plasma screen in it, and it rolls pretty hard. I kind of like that. There's no use for any of those vehicles. I can still like them. I can still know that there's absolutely no utility in a majority of their line and still like it, except for this piece of crap right here, this BMW i3. There's absolutely no use for that piece of hot garbage. Just buy a Chevy Volt. Like, why put yourself through that? Just buy a Chevy Volt. The i3 sucks. It's trash. The Volkswagen ID4 trash. There's a reason why its resale value is less than what is more than what Tesla is going to lower the Model 3 to. Like, a better vehicle, arguably, and yet the ID4, like, people will argue that the ID4 is better, but yet its resale value is trash because nobody likes it. Nobody wants to keep it. I've met so many people who have traded in their ID4 for literally any other electric car. BMW i3 for literally any other electric car. Because it's not a good car. Nobody cared about it. And nobody cares about this video. So I'm just going to end it here because I'm literally just gassed for ideas right now. And I thought I'd come up with something clever in this ride. I don't know. Maybe I'll call this, like, Confessions Behind the Wheel or something. I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully Kevin can make something out of this nothing video.